All right, everybody, please welcome our guest for this evening. You may know him from his work in Elden Ring as Boc The Seamster. It's Calvin A. Dean. Welcome, Calvin.
Hi, Dan. Thank you.
How have you been, mate? Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. No, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, just sort of trying to stay out of the rain in horrible grey North London. So, yeah.
Can you put the myths to bed? How often is it raining in London?
Probably about 80% of the time. The thing is, it's been lovely, and it's all right today. But like yesterday, I went to meet a friend for lunch, and it was tipping down, and it was just miserable. It's just not nice. But when it's nice, I mean, I love London, so I can't really complain because it's a city that I really love. But when I look at, I mean, you're over there. I mean, it's mad to think that we live in this grey.
Well, I think it's similar to Melbourne down here in Australia because it just seems to always be raining lately down here.
Really? But is it always? It's warm though. Is it like humid?
So in Australia, it's usually warm. It's just Melbourne that seems to be this pocket of rain where I am. Everywhere else seems to be scorching hot, because most people think deserts in Australia and the outback. And you know what I mean? But great to have you here, mate. Do you want to give us a bit of background on how you got, into acting and voice acting and all this stuff? Because I know Elden Ring was your first video game. Well, on paper it is. Maybe you've done more since, but yeah. It
was actually my very first voiceover job ever.
I know that's a pretty good one to have.
I mean, when I got it, I didn't think that was going to, be anything. But But anyway, acting wise, I don't know. It's a funny one for me. No one in my family, no one's an actor or in the industry. I'm from a tiny little village in Cornwall, and I ever thought that people from tiny villages would be able to do a job like be an actor. What's that about? But I was always really interested in puppetry and magic and those things that when kids sort of come to, with into your face with a puppet, you're just like, go away. But that was I just loved anything like that, like creating little characters and voices, and I loved it all. And I think that was probably where it started. And then amateur theatre in the village where I'm from. And then when I went to secondary school, I had a great drama teacher, and he was like, yeah, I think if you're interested in it, you should go for it. And it was the only thing that I really had any interest in. So I did lots of school productions, and everything else went to the side. I didn't care about any other subject, to the point where our head of year actually had to call my mum in and say, look, Calvin really should concentrate on maths, science, everything else, not
Sounds
just
like me. Yeah.
I did not care. I just, all I cared about was drama, which is crazy, I know, really, because maybe I should have listened, because now doing acts and things, I'm absolutely useless. But and then my drama teacher, Mr. Frankland, actually told me about the National Youth Theatre, which is a fantastic organisation here in the UK, been running for years and years. Loads of very well-known actors have sort of gone through them, and I joined the National Youth Theatre and spent about 4 years with them, and then went to drama school in London. But again, something that I never thought I would ever be able to do. It's one of those strange things where you think you're from a small place in the middle of nowhere. People like me don't become actors. I still don't really think
I hear that a lot. I hear my guests say I still have a bit of imposter syndrome, No,
I really do. And I even though I've worked on some really lovely things over the years, some great projects, I still have that. I sort of go, what am I doing? Like, even with this job, I was like, why, why me? But anyway, I'm happy to do it. It's all I can do. So I don't know what else.
Are you a film nut like me? Like, I know you're into drama and that, but what about in terms of shows and films? Are you keeping up to date with everything, or what are you like?
I am a big film buff. Yeah, I try and see most films that come out, which is quite a feat. including all the rubbish. Luckily here, I don't know if you've got anything like it in Australia. Here we have, with our big chain cinemas, you have like an unlimited membership where you can basically, you pay a certain amount.
No, I need that though. I'd like that.
You can go and see anything, like as many times as you want, which is fine. Sometimes during the year you get those periods of time where the films are just rubbish. But
so
I still
how much is that a month?
The one I pay for is with one of the big chains, and I think it's like 20, just over 20 quid, £20 a month.
Wow, that's pretty good value.
The only problem is they don't always, these big chain cinemas don't always show, some of the more independent sort of films that I love foreign film as well. So I then end up spending more going to another cinema to watch all those films.
Have you seen Drive My Car?
I've not. That's 4 hours long?
I don't remember if it's 4 hours long.
I'll check it out. I've heard about it.
But that's 4 hours long.
It's Japanese.
Yeah, it is. It's Japanese. I don't remember the runtime, but
it won the Oscar, didn't it? I
believe it won the best foreign film. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that and I guess Parasite, obviously everyone knows that. I like to say I was on it before it was big. I'm one of those snobs. But
great film, yeah.
What have you seen lately that you can recommend? Did you like The Northman?
I've not seen it yet. I might go tomorrow, but I saw it on your Twitter and I was like, oh yeah, I must go and see that. I've heard really good things. I think his films are great anyway. He's a great filmmaker. So, and also, I mean, I remember it's similar actually, his films to, you had Ed Rowe on recently, who's in the film Bait. And that's a very similar style of filmmaking. He's got a new film out soon actually, the same director. But yeah, I love film. It's great.
So you know him, do you?
Ed, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've probably known Ed for about 7 years, I think. So when
You're not from the same village, are you?
No. Like quite a way away actually.
Yeah.
And we've got very different accents. I mean, Ed's still. I don't sound that Cornish anymore because I've lived in London for 18 years. But
you've poshed up a bit. You reckon?
Yeah, my North London's made me a little bit more, but Ed's very Cornish, but he's great. Yeah, I first met him. I was doing a play in Cornwall. It must have been about 2015, 16, and he's friends with the director. And that's where I first met him, and we got on really well. And then we've actually just recently done a BBC drama together in Cornwall. We didn't have any scenes together, but we were there at the same time. So,
and you're in Elden Ring together. I mean, that's pretty weird, isn't it?
I know.
Circumstances, yeah. No, good on you. That's beautiful. That's great. So tell me about Elden Ring. Like, how did this come about? I mean, because this is, as you said, your first voice acting gig, first video game performance, and it's one of the biggest games ever made. So congratulations for that one.
I mean, as I said, I didn't when I got a call from my agent, because I don't have, and I still don't have. Hopefully, this is going to change next week. I don't have a voiceover agent, so this came through my acting agent, and I've always wanted to do voice work, but it's one of those things that I don't know why. I just went, either I don't think I've got the right voice for it, and it sort of put me off. So I went, I'm not going to bother.
I can't believe this, because you were phenomenal in this game.
It's weird. I don't know why. I don't, even though I've always loved using my voice, even in my acting jobs, or screen work and on stage, I've always loved that side of it, like the vocal side of it. But I don't know why. I just never did it. And then I got a call from my agent saying this game, didn't even know the title of it or anything at the time. They want to see you and they want genuine Cornish. And I went, okay. So they sent me some script and I thought, I'll go in. They didn't, I had no clue about this character at all. They didn't tell me a single thing about him. So when I got there, because my casting was at the studio, and Adam, the voice director, was sort of remote in my ear. And he sort of said, he said, I don't really have much about him either, but he's a sort of a funny little, almost monkey sort of creature. and the way that the players are going to find him is you find this tree, and then he turns into this creature. And I went, okay, so let me create some voice. And I just thought of like a smaller, funny little. I was trying to think of. It's such a weird thing. I just sort of did it on the spot. This voice, and
really,
they seem to like it. I think the original voice was slightly higher. I made him. He was a little bit more like that. And then they wanted it to come down a bit, which I was happy about. But yeah, and that was it really. And then when my agent called and said, "Yeah, you've got the job," I still didn't. I was just like, "Oh,
you didn't have any idea the scope."
Well, I've got friends, and a very good friend who does a lot of voice work, and he's done gaming voices before, and I mean, I just thought, well, it's a job. I'm happy to do it, and I was happy that it was a voice job because that's great to get into that side of things. But then, of course, when I looked into it, then when I found out exactly what I was doing, I was like, oh God, this is big.
And do you go around telling people now? Yeah, I just finished a project with Georgia Mann.
Well, I have said that. Not,
yeah, I mean, I would.
I'm not even sure how much he had to do with it in the end.
Exactly.
Great that he, to have that there. It's on my CV that I've worked with him. Why not?
Oh no, I'd be milking that cow dry.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a nice thing to say that I've, and so many people have heard of this game. I mean, when the first week it came out, I was at home in Cornwall, and my mum and dad were shopping, and I sort of tagged along. And my dad got so excited because there it was on the shelf. And my dad's he has no idea about games, but he was there. It was, and it was like, wow,
that's good.
So
I
cool.
like that. So have you had much? Have you seen the fan reception? Like, have you seen the art and all that sort of stuff come out of the community?
Yeah, I've seen a few videos on YouTube, and and I've had fan mail for this, which is mad. But yeah, I responded to some earlier this week. I mean, it's great. I sort of put it on the same sort of, the fan base is very similar to Doctor Who, in that the fact that it's very, they know what they're talking, that it's very much it's quite full on, which is great. I love it. I love the fans for these shows. I mean, they're it's, but I wasn't expecting to get fan mail.
What's that? It's so funny. So you how much do you know about the gaming world? And because you're not a gamer, are you?
No, not.
What's the last game you reckon you played?
Oh, so when I was, me and my brother had a what's the what is it, a game? No, Sega. What's the Sega? The black when you hold.
Sega Genesis, is it called? Is that
no,
Sega Saturn.
Game Gear.
GameCube. Game
We're
Boy.
Talking, like, my brother had a Game Boy, I think. But no, seriously, I remember playing Sonic on something years ago. But it's never been it's really never been that.
But are you more equipped now, you think? Is this something you want to do more of? Voice acting in games?
Oh, voice,
and that sort of...
Yeah. It's sort of it's made me realize that I should have done this a long time ago. So I've actually I've got meetings next week with some agents, so I'm hoping that's gonna go well. And
I can't believe this is your first game. I was actually in shock researching because the performance was that good, mate. I don't know how many, like, so many people were touched by this story of this character of Boc, because it's a bit of a touching story, a little bit.
Yeah. I really loved the recording it, like creating that character, because I had no idea about this character. They didn't really tell me anything, and I had no images either. I didn't even know what he looked like. I know some of the other actors had sketches of. There was nothing. They hadn't actually designed him at that point, and we're talking nearly a year ago, I suppose, that I went in for my first session.
Yeah,
and so I had nothing to go on, visual or anything. So I just sort of had to come up with this character, really.
So you were putting the pieces together of the story as you sort of read them out.
Yeah.
In
exactly.
the booth.
in the booth, yeah. And of course, a lot of it is your direction as well, which that's a big part of it. And having everyone there on Zoom discussing it as you go, that was a really great experience. And I kind of fell in love with it as soon as I mean, I've been in recording booths before, obviously doing ADR and where you re-record lines for TV and film and things. But this was I really loved it. It was like, but at the end of the day, it's just you're just acting, really. Yeah. But it's the technical side of it that's difficult, because that's where I had no clue, but somehow I picked it up really quick. So I was like, oh, okay. Because Max, the technician in with me, he was like, oh no, you've got it. Like, you're fine. Because I was just really worried about like being too close to the mic or
that sort of thing.
Weird things like that. Because I didn't want, they're paying you for, and you've got to get it done within a certain amount of time. They booked you for these sessions. So I was like, oh God, am I technically gonna be okay with this? But it's fine. It's fine.
So were you nervous heading to that booth on day one?
Day one, I was a little bit. But then when you meet everyone, you sort of on the Zoom call, because obviously they were all in Japan, and there must have been about 15 of them all looking at me. And then I think the translator for my sessions was based in the US, translating the Japanese, and then he was obviously then talking to our director in the UK, who was also remote.
Do you know if Miyazaki was there with you?
Miyazaki was there, yeah. And again, because I don't know this world, I didn't really know. He's
literally like Chris Nolan, Quentin Tarantino of the gaming world.
Yeah,
and you're just like, you wouldn't have a clue. It's just so funny. But that would have helped. I think that would have helped.
Yeah, because I think if I knew who he was, and I would have been, I would have been a lot more nervous. But I was really relaxed from that point on, because luckily they turn the Zoom, you don't actually see everyone for the whole session, but you can hear them. But I loved that, the experience of sort of, and we were changing like lines as we went, because they were obviously written in Japanese and then translated. So some of it didn't quite make sense. And especially with me, I wanted to make him as Cornish as possible. And so there were some lines even that I was like, you wouldn't say it like that. And they were really open to changing it. So
Is there any examples you can give of that off the top of your head?
Oh, probably not. I can't. It's such a long time.
What's something Cornish like that accent brings out? Is it just a way of speaking? Is it there's not specific words?
There are. To be fair, there are some words that I had to say which I had never even really heard of. So the word "cully," I had never heard of that word. It's such a, and he says it a few times. And I did ask about it, and they said, "Oh no, we can't. We don't want to change that." And I was like, "Fine, that's fine."
Cully.
But Cully, and I think I did look at. I think it's when he's talking about being a friend or something. But yeah, I found that quite an odd one to say. But they were adamant to keep that.
Yeah. Oi, you there? Could you help us out, Cully?
Cully.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah,
what does it mean?
I think I remember looking it up at the time.
Cully is a man or a friend.
Yeah,
there
friend.
You go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's probably one of those really old words, like really old-fashioned words.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. Maybe they would have said. Maybe he would have said that years ago. That old-fashioned-y.
Now I had a bit of a bad experience with Boc, unfortunately. So I don't know how much you know about the story, but I know you did all the lines, but it has been a while since you've done them. Our friendship was going strong, and then he said, "Look, I want to be." He basically said, "I want to be a man again, or I'm ugly," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll give you this, so you can become beautiful." Little do I know that was not what I should have done. I gave him it, and then he was frozen, dead.
What did you give? What did you give him to make?
I gave him a larval tear, it's called.
I've heard of this larval tear.
To give him like a rebirth, so he could be, and so he was human, but he died. It wasn't to be. So there's a little story there, bit of a.
So is that it then with him? If you do
that, I couldn't talk anymore. That's it. So what you're supposed to do is not do that, and he's beautiful the way he is, which is a nice story, but I didn't get that, obviously. Oh God.
I've got friends who I worked with a girl actually recently, and she said, "Oh, I'm a big fan of Elden Ring." She said, "It's great," and she's like, "You're in it?" I was like, "Yeah." So I explained to her who I was, and she's like, "I've not seen this character." And then I spoke to her again. This was probably about a month ago, and I spoke to her again recently, like last week, and she said, "I've still not found him. I don't know where this character is." I was like, "Well, don't ask me, because I have no idea."
Well, it's a tough one because you're hiding in the bush, and people might never ever find you. You know, because it's not something you just you're not in the open, are you? It's more.
I quite like that. It's quite cool that you have to sort of.
It's like great. It mixes it up a bit, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just going through the video now that I posted a Boc just to see some of the comments, because I know that a lot of them were really touched and loved the performance.
Again, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I remember Max, the engineer, after my first session, he was like, "You realize that people are going to fall in love with this character?" And I was like, "What? Really?" He's like, it's like a character from a game. Why would people fall in love with him? But I kind of get it. He is sweet. I do like Boc. I like him.
I can hear the voice, like I can hear Boc in you, but it's not fully. Can I hear the full Boc? Is that possible?
Boc the Seamster, at your service, master. Can I be of assistance?
It's not that. I mean, I don't know.
It is. It's completely different, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, maybe not for you, but for me, it's a completely different person I'm talking to now.
I did have to do a lot of oi, 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 oi. You there?
you can't see me.
Yeah, it's to me. I don't know. It's strange because I suppose it is. Obviously, it's not me. But if I walked around talking like that, then.
Have you ever thought about hiding in a bush and going, oh, you might get a different response in a London park?
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
You might be arrested.
I better not try that.
You know what you would love? Because I know you love your theatre and you've been in a lot of plays, or I know you love that stuff. You would love motion capture in games. Have you heard of that?
I've had friends who have done some motion capture. Again, that's another side of this industry that I've no idea.
I already know.
I know it's often connected with like the voice side. I know that, but I'm not too sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would love to give anything a go like that. I think it would be. I mean, I know all these, things like Lord of the Rings, and that's obviously how they do a lot of these big shows and big films and TV shows. So yeah, I would love to have a go at that.
What would be a dream role for you, if you could pluck one out with any director? It doesn't have to be a movie. It can be a show. Or what's that big dream role for you? You think?
I would love to be in one of those massive like TV shows that just so you can sort of. I'm talking like the Game of Thrones sort of. I don't know. There's something about that. Just that. I love shows that have that sort of community, sort of where everyone, like all the fans, are so on it as well. I love, and I had that obviously with being in Doctor Who. I had that, and I really, even though I have no clue about Doctor Who really, but like the science and things, I have no idea. But yeah, just that sort of community with like the fans and the cast as well. Everyone's sort of, you sort of all know each other. One of those big shows, the sort of Game of Thrones-esque shows.
What was that like, by the way, Doctor Who?
Doctor Who was, I loved working on Doctor Who. That was nearly coming up for 10 years ago now that I was in Doctor Who.
It goes quick, doesn't it?
It does, but I loved it, and I think because I had the experience of being in the Doctor Who spin-off as well. I was in the Sarah Jane Adventures before I did Doctor Who. So I've double sort of experience within that universe.
Yeah.
But that I love being in both. But yeah, and it's still now it's crazy. Not just because you still get paid from Doctor Who. That's obviously very nice. But being sort of having that fan base as well is really.
Oh, so did you get a buyout for that?
So it's really strange. So you still get, because if it's outside of your contract, if they sell it to, or if it's shown on telly, then you get paid. But so yeah, that's a nice side of it. But it's not why I did it.
No. That's just interesting because I've heard recently that they don't do that much anymore. Well, I guess that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but also I think I think it's years ago. Like if you were in a big comedy series or something here, you would have made a huge amount, and you probably still live off that because your contract was different. But you still do get some. Like once they used a photo of me in a book from Doctor Who, and so I got a fee for it, and I was like, well, all right, fine, thanks.
That's fantastic. All right, this is a new little segment I've got. It's Dan's tough 10 questions. We're working on the title, okay? Really tough questions. I mean, you're really going to struggle with these, okay? They're going to get your mind thinking, all right? All right, the first one is, Calvin, if you were a fruit, what fruit would you be?
I wasn't expecting that.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
What fruit?
Oh, goodness me.
Wow. Something exciting like
I told you it'd be tough.
Pineapple. Slightly prickly on the outside, but very sweet.
Oh, that's pretty good off the top of your head. I like that, man. It was like you were prepared. That's brilliant. I want to know, this isn't a part of the 10 questions. Is pineapple allowed on pizza, in your opinion? I mean, I know the answer now.
To be fair, I don't know.
I
wouldn't.
You're a no.
If someone gave me a pizza that had pineapple on, I would eat it. I find it's hot. It's hot fruit. It's like that. There's something strange about that.
Oh, I agree. I don't think it should be.
I mean, I wouldn't probably say no if someone did give me a.
I would flat out say, get that out of my face.
I wouldn't ever buy a pizza that had pineapple on it.
No. Okay, next question. If you could go on holiday tomorrow, where are you going, Calvin?
Somewhere warm, somewhere hot at the moment would be nice. So I don't know, the Bahamas or Hawaii or somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, next question. What is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten, Calvin?
Weirdest. I recently tried, it's not that weird actually, but I recently tried some cricket. What was it? Cricket. I think it was cricket salsa. It was like some Mexican thing.
Okay. But it was with crickets in them.
Yeah, but I'm not. Maybe I've not been that adventurous, but yeah, cricket. It was like crickets.
If you could be a fictional character, who would you be?
Do you mean a fictional character in existence?
Oh, let's open it up. Any character. If you could live them for a week. My answer is Superman.
Well, I was still going along that line.
Yeah.
You look like yourself. You look like you. Because I don't see
you will look like them, yes.
I would look ridiculous in like Superman's.
So would I. Don't worry.
But I was thinking a lot like a superhero-esque character, but maybe not like spandex-y sort of stuff, because I wouldn't look good.
So Batman is your answer, yeah?
Yeah. All right. Be more of a Robin, just sort of.
Oh yeah.
Behind.
What is the funniest joke you know by heart, Calvin?
Oh, I hate this question.
Oh no, sorry.
They always when you go to cut. Sometimes it's not happened for a long time. When you go to a cast, sometimes they pounce this on you, and you.
Oh really?
Panic in your head. You go.
I'd hate that. Well, look, there's no judgment here because don't worry, you're already hired.
I read a joke to a friend last night, and he told me that he wasn't my friend anymore.
So it must have been good.
So my joke, what do you call an idiotic cow?
What?
A mistake. Mistake.
Oh no, that's terrible.
That is really bad.
But that's good. I like it. Well done. Well done. We'll give you a tick for that one. Most used app on your phone, Calvin.
Wow. I don't post much, but I am a bit of a Twitter. I do just sit sort of like scrolling a lot. I'm quite bad for that. I'm not very good with social media at all. I'm useless. But I like to sort of spy on things and see what's going on. But yeah,
Is there a certain genre that you're looking at, or just anything?
Anything. It's off. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff obviously related to this industry, but anything, yeah. But I've been trying to cut down lately on phone usage, and I hate. That's the thing with having an iPhone. I hate that it tells you like how many hours you've been looking at your screen, and it's quite scary. I've had to start putting it down because I've started what I do, and I hate it. Is if I'm at home watching a film, I find myself, even if it's a really good film, all of a sudden I've got my phone, and I'm like, "What? Stop it! What are you doing?" So yeah, that's got to go.
It's up there for me too with YouTube. Next question. What was your favorite TV show growing up?
Favorite TV show growing up. So we had there were a few children's TV shows that I loved.
Yeah.
There was a series when I was a child called Biker Grove.
Biker Grove. I haven't heard of it. I'm looking it up right now. Biker Grove.
The TV presenters Anton Deck.
Biker Grove. Wow. Okay.
It was set. I think it's Newcastle.
Wow. Okay. This is your. Yeah. Okay.
One of it. They're just like really loving it.
And what's it about? They're all just...
like kids, like I think they're all like part of a youth, like a youth like group.
Okay.
It's just following their lives, but yeah. So things like that.
Next question. Couple more. What's something you do every day that not many people would do?
Wow, what a question. Wow. Question.
You were not expecting these questions.
No,
I don't think anyone watching was either.
I do.
Well, yeah, but it might be tough if you're boring like me. I mean,
well, to be fair, I am really boring. I'm happy.
Why don't we change it to people might not think you do? Does that help you at all? It doesn't help, does it? Because I've had like one person said would say meditating or something like that.
Maybe what?
Meditating.
Oh, meditating.
Yeah, someone might say that, or I don't know. I do this, or look, yeah. Some of these questions might get cold next time we do this segment, so don't worry.
No, it might just be me because
It's not you.
I can't think of anything.
That's all right. No,
I love coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah, I'm a big coffee. I do love a coffee.
What's the order? What's the go-to order?
Normally, again, quite boring. I would just go if it's like later in the day, maybe a flat white.
Yep.
I live in North London. Yeah.
Oh shit! Okay, two more. Hopefully these are better. Who's the most famous person you've ever met?
Ooh, well, I mean, I've worked with a few. Not
I
to
know.
I'm just trying to think. I mean, I probably someone, Judi Dench.
Whoa, that's a big name. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've met a couple of times.
Wow. And are you starstruck?
No, I don't really get starstruck.
No. That's good. That's good.
I mean, my very first job out of drama school was with Keira Knightley.
And was she a big name at that time?
Yeah, I think it was. She was just sort of getting. She was just getting there, but yeah. So yeah, and that was. She was lovely, but she's great. But I remember at the time, like people being like, "Oh, you know, you hear all these things about actors," and I was like, "Oh God, no, this is going to be awful." But she's so lovely, really sweet.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. And last question. If you were transported 300 years into the past with nothing, how would you convince them you were from the future?
With nothing?
You got nothing on you. You are bare naked, so good luck.
Well, absolutely nothing on?
Nothing. You got nothing on, and you walk in 300 years ago. How do you convince them you're from 2022? What are you going to do?
How did you come up with these questions?
I don't know. Honestly, half of these are going to be gone next time.
I like it.
Okay, if you like them.
Nothing to prove that you're from the future.
Yeah. So what are you going to say?
So 300 years ago, we're talking. You're right.
It's almost too hard of a question, isn't it? Oh man.
I'm trying to think what you could tell them to make them believe you.
All right. So out of all those questions, about 4 of them are gone, right? That one's gone. Next time.
It might just be me. I'm not very good at.
No. It's not just you. Trust me. It's not just you. Okay. It's terrible questions. But thank you for doing the tough. I told you they were going to be tough. I didn't know they were this tough. Oh no. Brilliant.
I like the fruit one was quite
okay.
Good.
The fruit one's going to stay. Oh boy. So is there any upcoming projects you can tell us about, mate, that that you might want to plug or anything like that?
No.
It's all NDA'd, is it? I mean, I get this answer every time. I should just stop asking it as well.
I've not really got a huge amount coming up. I'm a jobbing actor, and things are still only just getting going again in this industry, which is great. I mean, obviously, I was really happy to do a job, as I said, with Ed Rowe earlier in the year, so that's great, and that'll be coming up at some point, but I can't really discuss that. But yeah, I'm just hoping that some more comes along, and more voice work would be nice.
Can I ask, how many auditions would you put through a year? Is that
in a normal year? Because obviously,
in a normal year.
That's a tough one because I've also recently, my castings changed recently because I lost a ton of weight, and that's slightly changed things for me. So it's probably increased for me now, and as you get older, things change as well. So I'm starting to be seen playing dads and things, and that's great. I don't know, over a year, like castings, I don't know, maybe for me, maybe 25, 30.
Yeah,
it's hard. Wow. It's really difficult to answer because obviously it changes.
Oh yeah. If you land a big gig that takes months, then wow.
Yeah,
it's a fascinating world, acting.
It's a weird one. I don't know why anyone would want to do it, really, but it's
well, my brother wants to be an actor, so I was going to ask you what advice you had for him and any other upcoming actors, and that's besides quitting. If you can't,
well, no. The thing is, I remember one of my teachers at drama school saying this, that there's no point in giving advice like that, because you could say, don't do it, because it's a ridiculous job and it's hard and it's you may fail and all this. But the thing is, if you love it so much, you're going to do it anyway. That's the thing. You're not going to say, oh, okay, I won't bother then. You're going to do it, because so many people over the years have said that to me, and I've never really listened to them. And it's tough. It can be really tough, this industry. You know, you can go through times where you might not work for 6 months, and that's mentally tough. But if you love it as much as I do, then you what else? I don't know what else I would do. So I stick at it, and it normally works out. Something comes along.
I can't wait to see you hopefully do more voice work, mate, because this one was really, really stood out. And especially in a game with so many good actors.
And I was
many
really
characters and
I was surprised when I went to the launch party. Everyone was really shocked that this was my first, not even my first game. This is my first voice gig. And I was like, because I didn't really think about it. I just thought, oh, well, there'll be others who have, it's their first job. No, I mean, most of them have, they're seasoned professionals and they've been doing voice work for a very long time. But the advice, I got some great advice that night as well from quite a few. I think you spoke to Claire, didn't you, recently?
Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah.
She was really sweet and said, look, message me and ask me any questions. And so I have done. And they all said, you've got to get on it. You just got to use Elden Ring as, that sort of to push forward. And that's a huge thing.
You have to. It is probably going to win Game of the Year for this year. I mean, it's really, it's up there for games. Like, I know you don't know much about, but this is, you've started with a bang.
Not bad.
You know,
it can only go down.
Well, I was going to say the reviews were pretty damn good. It might be tough to. It's literally a 96 on Metacritic out of 100 with hundreds of reviews. So, if you do get a better review game, then that is going to be tough. But look, it's been a pleasure to have you on, mate. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Is there anything you wanted to say to the Elden Ring fans?
I'll just thank you for really sort of welcoming me to this massive world of gaming. I love it. It's been really good fun to sort of hear from fans and see the response. I wasn't expecting any of that, but no. I know it's not, and it's not. I just did the voice. I'm not. There's a lot of other people involved, and you do a lot of work.
Shout out to the developers. Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Our voice directors, and they're all really talented people. And to go on, like I've looked at a few sort of YouTube videos, and just to see that love for this character it's been great.
Does it blow your mind the view count on some of these videos?
Yeah, just some of them, they're pretty huge. I don't know, is that normal?
Not really normal. But 250,000 people have watched Boc The Seamster's full quest line. I mean, that's not a small amount of people, is it?
No.
And then how many people played the game and found you? There's 15 million copies sold last time I heard. So it's, even if 1 in 15 found you, that's a million.
Yeah, wow.
That have heard your voice. So, well, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Make sure you follow Calvin, guys, on Twitter. Twitter, it's Calvin A. Dean, and I believe it's the same on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure you because there is another guy called Calvin Dean.
Yeah, he's not as, we don't care about him. It's the A. Dean that we care about, right? And before I let you go, Calvin, can we hear one more time from Boc? But can he talk to Dan? Is that possible? Can he say something to Dan? I've come up, I've found you in the bushes.
Let's just see where it goes.
All right. And here we go. Action.
Boc the Seamster at your mast.
No, I'm going to start again.
Boc the Seamster at your service, Master Dan. How are you, Dan? Do you think I'm beautiful? Only my mother said I was beautiful. Please tell me, am I beautiful, Dan?
Yes, Boc, you are.
It's a date. No, I'm joking.
Oh, thank you, mate. I appreciate it. No, that was brilliant. I love how you can just get into it too. I mean, it's probably been a year since you've done that voice.
Yeah, I did have to have I knew you were going to ask me to do the voice, so I had to have a bit of a list.
Beautiful. Yeah. You had to do a little practice, so that's good. Thank you, mate. I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we get you back on when you're in another huge video game next year. Let's manifest it.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you, mate. Have a great day. Appreciate it. Say bye, everyone.